Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Harry Muppet. Excuse me. We are going to be casting a 1v1 game here. This is actually, we've managed to get the replays of the ZOTAC monthly cup that ran in April. I think the cup actually ran in May, but it's called the April Cup. I think they ran them a little bit late. They haven't actually run the May Cup yet, even though it's the start of June, but it's obviously called the April Cup because it's culminating after all the games that were played in April, the weekly cups and stuff like that. But here we go. ZOTAC, of course. They make a lot of fancy PC hardware sort of stuff. I had a look on the site. They make miniature computers and graphics cards, so it looks very, very impressive. But they also host a whole bunch of Starcraft 2 tournaments, and that is the really impressive thing. So this is going to be the semi-final. Now down on the bottom left side, he does not have a game in the game, but this is going to be Sage. So he is our blue Protoss player. And up the top right side of the map, we do have our red Zerg player, Snute. So it's the semi-final, the first semi-final I'll be casting. I do have the replays for the other one as well, so we're going to see both of those semi-final games. And then we're going to be moving on to the grand final. I believe the semi-finals are best of 3, and then the grand final is a best of 5 game. So there we go, moving on in to the first semi-final between Sage and Snute. So here we go. Not much going on so far. We've got some nice Overlord movement from our red Zerg player. We've got a spawning pool going down before hatch. He's expecting to go for hatch very soon. Yeah, you can see he's saving up the minerals to go for it. So it's a 14 pool followed by a 16 hatch. So that's a very safe build to go for. Going against a Protoss, though, he doesn't really have to worry about being attacked that fast, but as I've said in previous games, I think the main reason they get the spawning pool so fast is just to get the queen out so fast. You get the queen out faster, you get the spawn larva out faster. It actually turns out to be more favourable than getting the hatchery out first. I mean, you don't have the larva production that the hatchery gives you, but they've obviously done the maths. I mean, these guys are all masters players, so they've done the maths and they've decided the spawning pool is, yeah, just getting the queen out a little bit earlier. It's just a little bit more efficient, and of course they can get a second queen out of the main hatchery and have it down here by the time this hatchery comes out. So that probably does make a bit of sense. Here we go, Pro coming down here with this many minerals. We can fully expect to see the Nexus coming down. He's actually going to do a bit of harvesting before he builds the Nexus. So that was just spot on time to be able to get those minerals on the way back. So there we go, it's a very good play. He's got a gateway out. He does have a cyber core out though. I fully expect to see him actually building some units in the next minute or so. I would not be surprised to see a Stalker come out first, because he does have to worry about Overlord scouting, and if he has a Stalker nice and early, then taking out these guys is going to be a whole lot of fun. Well, we'll have to see. So very high level game here, of course, and I'm not expecting to see anything crazy in the first couple of minutes. Maybe a Mothership core coming out and doing a bit of damage, doing a bit of harass, but with queens on the board, the Mothership core is not going to be able to do a massive amount of harass. Maybe take out 1 or 2 units. That's probably about it. But right now he's just sitting there, defensive play sort of. Maybe thinking of overcharging the Nexus if a whole bunch of Zerglings come out fairly fast. You can see he hasn't actually scouted the Zerg player. He doesn't actually know where the Zerg player is. I do hope. Okay, so I thought he thought the base was there, but this is just going to be a proxy pylon to drop units down there. Maybe DTs later in the game. Always a good choice, especially if the Zerg player expands down to this middle base, and you know he's going to at some point. So as long as the Overlords don't see this pylon and they've got no reason to try and scout in this area, then this could be a very good idea just for sending units down in the mid to late game. But here we go. What have we got going on? Whole bunch of Overlords coming out. Speed as well, so he's got to get a bunch of Lings and speed. Is getting a second assimilator here. He's not going for a third or fourth though, so we're probably not going to see anything crazy like mutas coming in. There we go, Banelings. So yeah, that's definitely a good build for 2 gas coming down. We do have a Twilight Council coming down for the Protoss player, so we can expect to see any number of tech options out of that. It could be the basic ones like speed or blink stalkers, or it could be something a bit crazy like Dark Templars or High Templars coming out. I was about to say he hasn't got many gateways, but here we go. There's 3 more. They're going to do a very nice job of blocking off these lings. Not going to be able to get in. And 1 sentry is going to be enough to take them all out. But here we go. There's the Dark Shrine coming down. Bunch of zealots coming down there. He is going to try and punish this relatively early 3rd base. The ling's going to come down here. They're going to take out this pylon. So he's built another pylon there. And that is going to reduce the suspicion that the Zerg player has, because he's going to be like, alright, Zealots do a very good job here jumping behind the mineral, so the Zerg player not going to try and attack them there because he'd lose quite a lot in the choke. But he is going to go down here, and with 2 more sentries I think he should be able to hold these guys off a bit. Although with this many banelings he can completely wipe out a gateway in one go, and that is going to open this gap up way too much. There's no way he can stop the lings running in if they go down here, but we'll have to see if he makes a nice counter with the Dark Templars into the Zerg player's base. If we have a look at the units, he does not have any overseers yet. Here go the banelings, but that was just a terrible attack from the banelings. They split the damage over 2 buildings, and that was just not what he needed to do. He managed to get this 1 gateway down eventually, but it just took him way too long. He should have just streamed all of them in on the single building. But there we go, beautiful force fields here. Banelings cannot kill a force field, they're starting to realise that now. Got a bunch of banelings just trying to stop them from taking out this gateway, but it looks like they might get in. No, just warded off. I think there was a bloody ling at the start just stopping that, and he's lost 2 gateways now. So he's going to have to rely entirely on the force fields to keep him safe, but he does have 7 sentries, and the ling numbers are just going down too far here, so I'm not sure what you can really hope to accomplish with this ling run by. Probably nothing. And these guys, they're just choking all over the place. But here we go, the lings are going to take them out. Lings are going to take some losses, but they can't get the full surround on any of these guys. And it might be better just to leave them alone for the time being, because they've just got to lose so many lings. He is going to go in, he is going to take them though. We have not seen a Dark Templar on the map yet. No Dark Templars so far. The Protoss player is nice and cocooned in there. He's not going to have any troubles with any more ling run-bys. He could probably try and do another bust with banelings, but it didn't work out too well for him last time, so he's probably not going to try and do it again. Ugh. And here we go, there's a warp prism coming out. So this will be the delivery system for the Dark Templars, more than likely. If we have a look at the bases, what has he got? He's got Spine Crawler. Nothing going on here, so he is not at all worried about the bloody DTs at this stage of the game. His units tab, he does not have any overseers. If we look at this, he does not have, he's got 1, where's this, is up here. Okay, so he's got the 1 Spore Crawler. So that is, yeah, still decently good for blocking in the DT, so he's got something going on. But if a Warp Prison comes up here, that Spore Crawler is going to be completely useless. But here we go. A nice army going on, and it looks like he's decided not to shoot in with the Dark Templars. He's decided to make a couple of Archons instead. 1 Archon anyway, and this is going to be very good at stopping these guys. Beautiful force fields, keeping the banelings out, and there we go. This is going to be a win. I mean, the red players just was not prepared for this hard push. I guess the blue player, man, he really put himself in a defensive mindset, and the red player was satisfied that he was in a defensive mindset, but he cut a couple of DTs out. He morphed 1 into an Archon, get some more down here, just for the attack, and with a bunch of hastily built zealots, he just went out there, and the Zerg player was not prepared. He was in that beautiful transition period where you put your player into a defensive mindset, and then you go ahead straight away, you build up a massive economy, and then you start moving into the mid game. That's where that red Zerg player was going. And if you're really good, you can take all these units that you've built up for the defensive mindset, for your defense, you just push out with them, and if you're good enough, and if you're lucky enough to have the Zerg player going for that economic push, then you can just take him by surprise and just take him out. The Zerg player did have some forces. He's not a complete idiot, so he had some forces, but some nice use of force fields and just nullified all them. And I don't think he was expecting Archons at this time of the game at this point in the game, so he's just caught off guard. He went in there, he was about to take out this base, and the Zerg player knew that he was in a lot of trouble, so he gave the GG. Very, very good win by our blue Protoss player there, by Sage, getting in with that timing when the red Zerg player was going for a more economic push after having put the blue Protoss player on the defensive back. And there we go, we're going to move on to game 2, and we're going to see exactly what Snute can do to try and push back against this Protoss player. But this has been Hairy Muppet. This is the ZOTAC April Monthly Cup going on, and we are going to see exactly how this goes. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the game 2 between Sage and Liquid Snute.